Welcome once again to the Table Talk Show. I am Saiba Mukasa Yusuf, and here we are again. You chose a very good topic for us to proceed with the next episode, and that was our schools. The education that we are getting from schools really giving us or preparing us for the outside life. And we managed to get you a very good team where we are having, on my right, we are having Barbara. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Saiba.
And on my left, not forgetting that we are also having a good gentleman, and that is Mr. John Mary. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Saiba.
And we are going to see, is the education that we are getting really preparing us for the outside life? Or we are wasting some time in schools? I think the best way to find out is to go straight to the topic with the guests today. Here we are with our very good topic, and I believe it is better if we start with a person who has passed through this education system and now is outside working. Now, let's start with Barbara. How do you feel about the education system, what they prepared, the education you got from school? Did it really prepare you for the outside life?
I'll say everything they gave me is helping me at a certain level.
Okay.
But I don't feel like I got everything I needed to get from school that will help me in the life I'm living in.
And do you think there is something they would have done different to give you each and everything that you really needed outside life?
Yes, for example, I feel like from primary to university, they kept on preparing me for the next level of education,
Okay.
but not after that education they're giving me. If I was in primary, they were preparing me to survive in high school,
Okay.
because they are giving me maths, telling me the advanced level. This you'll get it in senior one. In senior one, they're telling me the advanced level you're getting it from A level. In A level, the advanced level of this you get it in the university.
And after university?
And after university, I was all alone with the books I read,
And outside it was totally different.
It was totally different.
Now I think the right person to ask is Mr. John Mary, who is a teacher. Why do they prepare us for the next step? But when after the university, now that step is out of the calculation.
Now, I will not answer the why, as in, it doesn't sound like an attack, but then the why is a little bit big. There is something I would want us to understand. First of all, we went through the same systems as teachers.
Yes.
And when you leave the primary and go to secondary, there are some things you're going to learn about that build on that which you studied from the primary section.
Yes.
So you cannot start into the secondary area and you're like, I am here, I did not need the other one.
Yes.
That's why you cannot be promoted from nowhere. No, you need a start point. You need a starting point. And in this case, primary builds for secondary. It's a platform. And from secondary, you go to maybe university or other tertiary institutions. Maybe if you say that I wanted to be a mechanic, but I went to a tailoring school, that's where the difference comes in. Also, you will understand that outside there are so many opportunities that you will study mechanics, and once you get out, you find that mechanics will lack jobs in the mechanic area. And you can spot, or with the discussion with a friend, you'll meet Mr. Saiba, he's a driver, he tell you, instead of going mechanics, you study driving. Or you learn how to drive. Instead of going for catering, which you had in your mind or which you already have certificates for,
Yes.
instead of going for catering, you go for videography.
No,
You see?
it still brings a question. I think we need to look at this in a wider view, not looking at the step P1, P2. Let's talk about it in a wider perspective. Let's look at the education. What we really get out of school. When we get out, is it what we really need to survive? Because we have seen people who don't go to school, they survive and they make it in life. And there is this person who is in school. I spent my 6 years in primary, I take other 6 years in secondary school, and you are telling me that you are also preparing me for outside life. And once I get out of this system, I find that I'm just like starting from zero. What is happening in the system? Why aren't you people really giving us what Barbara talks about?
This is something that is a bit wide, like you say. We have institutions that are properly designed to cater for individual skills.
Okay.
Individual skills that you may have as professions. But then there is that one that someone wants as an individual. Your parent brings you to school so as to learn a specific skill. But then there is something that you want. We have seen doctors being musicians. Okay? We have seen musicians going for other, because that is what someone wants as an individual.
And now you are trying to bring out what we want,
And
we want to talk about.
I am coming to that. Why do you think these things are happening? There is what we call influence.
Okay.
One of them is the people with whom you work.
Yes.
You'll go to the hospital and then you find those devoted medics 24/7 they are into treating people.
Yes.
That means you'll grow because you had some idea about treating people, so you'll feel like you like the job. Then you'll become the job person. But then, in school they were teaching you to love your job. Everywhere you go, every profession, even the mechanics, they'll tell you that please love your job.
No.
But then, just a moment, when you go to hospital and you work with those people and you see how much they like their job, you will like it along. If you were in this and all of a sudden you meet a friend who is doing well in another business, you talk to them and they give you some other guidance. You're like, I think I'm doing it the wrong way. I have to leave this and then I go this way. Most especially if this person is willing to help you, to give you a hand into that. For example, business, right? So you're like, who is going to waste time really going to treat people the whole day you're putting on a uniform? Yet you can go there and get your 20,000 every day. After the end of the month, you have your 600. So why do I have to work for 300?
If you have to ask the same question now. So, Barbara, you who is already outside school and then you're experiencing life outside. Now, do you really think that what you really got is helping you out, or they would have given you more than what they gave you for you to have a better life outside?
I feel like they gave me something.
Something.
They did not give me everything that I think I need right now to survive in the business-wise or even social, by the way.
So, majority you are getting it on your own
On my
outside,
own.
while you paid money.
A lot of money, by the
Excuse
way.
me,
A lot of money, a lot of time.
Members, I think there is,
I also... Anyway.
there is something we have to understand. No one can teach you about life. Okay.
But you...
They can
what?
give you a hint.
Yes, and that's what we do.
No!
What
No.
do you... let me tell you what you do for us.
Yes.
According to what you think.
According to what I went through.
Oh,
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes. You give us books to read and test us if we read
If
things-
we crammed the
things
things they
you
gave
us
Yes.
to read and answer the answers you
One.
expect us
Yes.
to answer, and that is, the world is not that rigid.
No.
You reach out there.
Barbara, let me give this example. You said we want specific answers. If I gave you money to go and purchase some things, maybe some 2-3 things, wouldn't I want some balance if there was? Isn't
Yes.
that specific?
You would.
Isn't it an answer you bring back as a specific answer?
Yes.
Won't you explain to me, in case there is a variation from what I gave you and what you brought back? Isn't that really something that you get from a school if you give me a wrong answer and maybe you have to convince me or to explain? Because we don't teach you to stop at books. No, we don't.
But you don't really tell us that doesn't stop here. You people make us do just exams. You make us concentrate
You
on
actually make us
passing.
believe that what you're giving us is what we are going to go through outside
Yes.
there. It is
Which
totally different.
The word, I don't think the word totally is really...
It is
Totally
totally different. I don't know
How
which one
totally?
you're living
Members,
in.
how totally?
This is the totally different I mean.
We teach about English and you use it out.
Yes.
Kinyarwanda, you use it out.
Yes.
Those are languages, Kiswahili and whichever way you want.
I do not.
We talk about economics. Okay, let's go mathematics. It helps us in almost everything.
I
we
have
do.
never found
if-
an X in my life. I do
And you
not
will
know
never
where,
find it.
and I don't think I will
By the
ever
way,
find
the
it.
But the value of
mathematics-
X varies,
You
my
talked
dear
about
friend.
mathematics. The mathematics people study in school.
It's not
You
relevant.
can't
to what
just
we
find it
do.
anywhere after you are high
And let's see
school
if
or after
we are
university.
talking
It's
about
totally different.
statistics. what is that decimal? What?
Decimal numbers?
Metric
Decimal
system
number.
where they
Metrics.
say if I need a photo, like me who is doing photography, I need this centimeters on this.
Yes.
That is where we meet.
Oh,
that mark.
just a moment.
No one has ever told me, Barbara, in this order I want X or Y. Or
You calculate X for me and
yes,
then you
calculate
do this
X for me and get me the result.
But this X you are talking about is the other variation of a business that you are doing. Remember, you have 500,000. You are going for a business. Do you really know?
But
Do you really know how much you are going to get out of that business? Or you have it in your mind that if I bought at this amount, I'm going to sell at this, and then that one that you are going to get is the X that Teacher John, Teacher Cyber put on the book.
but
And that is what you are finding. If it's a Y, we
Which
just
is-
use those as...
You know the exact words you've just used to describe that? You
Yes.
never use it in school.
because it is
you
not
find
the right
it
time.
outside,
Yes.
and then you
And
learn
then
it
you're
yourself.
like,
and then
By the way, when we're doing those calculations in our businesses, we do not use the other examples you
Yes.
told us.
You don't
Because
use X, yes.
You did not show us the relevance between the mathematics you're showing us in school and how we can use it outside. If I'm calculating like what I've invested and what the money I
expenses and then
expect
the
to get out and the expenses, I do not use X and Y.
Yes,
Now that you've talked about it, it's actually now that it's making sense. Now I'm like, okay, so I can call my investment X and then call my expense Y, and then the result will be N. I did not know
Okay,
that because
it's a-
they did not tell me.
but
Thank you.
what we are trying to say here is, it's not that in education we get totally nothing, but the energy we spend while studying and the years we spend there and the skills we get out preparing us for the outside life, is it really that
It's not
much
really
as really required outside? Because we are talking about this calculating the business and all that. You can still learn that outside school
But members,
without
let me-
spending
let me
all
ask
these
you,
years.
let me ask you,
Because we
why
have
do you
people
think-
running businesses without passing through school, and they really manage a business very well
Hardly.
without spending
Hardly,
all the
yeah.
I'm
With
telling
so many
you, in my
people who are
business,
good
I
in
never use X and Y.
As in letters, X and Y.
Yes.
But that mind that
And I
you
had
have-
never thought of the relevance. It's now that you're talking about it
Oh
that I
my
understand. So now what I'm going to request you
No, before
is
you
to
request me,
advise.
before you request me,
Can I
I
first
already have an
finish?
idea.
Is to advise those teachers who are giving us X and Y to tell us how we can
I
use
am
it
not.
outside.
I'm not going to advise them because we are already doing it.
and then we
It's quite unfortunate
Where?
that maybe it was a bit of long time ago, where long means some 5, how many
I
years?
am not that old.
The system is
I was in
no,
school
no,
just
no.
a very
Barbara is saying he is not that old.
Yes,
person
I am
in
going
the
back
education
to the
system.
primary and secondary education where most of the X's are used, X and Y. Actually, some of us teachers are called teacher X, just because you teach
Let me
mathematics.
tell you, it's not only
Some
in
others are
primary.
giving-
I got that in the university. Basic fundamentals of mathematics.
They were
And I
teaching
was
you
doing
that at
it.
university.
Yes.
They still teach that in primary
Properly.
and
But
secondary.
the X's, like I said, those figures are only there, those numbers are only there to help us think, and then you can put X anywhere.
I think here the education system is giving us more of the theory, which is not really directing us to the practical that we really experience outside. If you people were really, because if you related the X now to the practical life, Barbara would have understood
Yes.
that better. But you
I would
want
have
the
used
theory,
it. I would
showed
have-
him find
I
the
would
X,
have
find
gone
the
through
Y.
writing sentences while I'm calculating. Now I go.
No.
What is the
maybe
problem? What is lacking? The
I would put it
curriculum
this
has
way.
a problem.
I would put it this way.
Okay.
During the time when you started, I wasn't there. But I think it is when we were still using the other old system. Now we have what we call the CBC.
Okay.
Okay? When we look at what Ministry of Education Rwanda is doing right now, there are some steps that are being taken. Teachers are trained to improve on what they've been doing.
And another
Maybe it was an error, a problem of the old system. Now we have what we call the CBC.
Okay.
Okay, whereby we teach our students with the training we expect them, such that even when a child goes out of school right now, they can do something which is physical. They have their own skills. If it is measuring, someone will have something to measure. when they go home, we expect them to do some practicals. We are using I've forgotten how we call it, but when you look at schools like the Cambridge-based schools, the Cambridge International Schools,
Yes.
the Montessori schools, they have skills whereby a child learns when they are still very young in the nursery section, how to lay the table, how to serve, how to measure, and make sure that all of them
Now
have,
that is important.
that is what we are doing.
That is
That's
important.
one of the
That is
reasons why
Is it general?
Yeah.
Is it touching all corners of education?
But then we
are
also-
most of them. Please,
We
Rome
also
wasn't
come
built in a
with,
day. It is a system that we are building, and maybe we have given it a timeline, which I'll say maybe by 5 years there is going to be an evaluation. Okay? When we look at what Minister of Education Rwanda is doing right now, there are some steps that are being taken. Teachers are trained to improve on what they've been doing.
And another
Maybe it was an error, a problem of the old system. But right now, I really tell you,
you are
the things I'm
improving,
saying.
but
Yeah.
then the challenge still comes. We have people go through school. He does PCB, he does some economics. Once they graduate, same course. He does medicine, he does pure economics at university. After graduating, they try to get a job and they can't get that. Someone trains them in videography and all that, and they do perfect very well. What is the problem? When we are studying, do you really people teach us to discover ourselves, or you just teach from one level to another one and you motivate us? You know something? You can do sciences, you go.
Yes.
You can do arts. You can really read this
That is-
history.
This now
They
goes back to
actually,
another problem
I
that
feel
we
like
have.
even when teachers try to come at a personal level, at an individual
Yes.
level, they are motivating you to go for most
What
of
you
the
can
time
pass.
for what you can pass or for what they are teaching.
Yes.
You know, if you come to me and you're a chemistry teacher, I, Buddha Barbara, has never understood what the
What potassium is.
is. And because I like the energy you bring to class, I like what you teach us, the systems you're motivating me to like what you like.
Yes.
It is not really my potential, but because Mr. John
Like
said
it and all that.
I can do it. Reaching at a higher level where you're not, then I look back and I'm like, what am I going to do in this
It
now?
becomes a very big
It becomes
problem.
very hard. I go outside, I practice my camera skills and become someone important. And I'm like, what took them so long to motivate me to do this?
But we did not know.
That is a big question now comes to you.
It comes back
Why?
to us. Now, do you want us to introduce these skills, other skills that are in technical and vocational schools, in high school?
Yes. Yes.
Members. I think-
Expose us, then
My
we shall
goodness.
decide.
Let me tell you, there is something that I've seen.
What
in
does the
other-
curriculum say? What does the curriculum say?
So-
Because
That is
remember,
what I was telling
that's
you.
what we got in
They
our
are
curriculums.
going by the books, the curriculums, but are they really helping us?
Yes.
yes, they are.
How?
Our brains grow differently.
Okay.
Our brains grow differently. And you don't expect someone in O level to study something they are supposed to study or to learn in senior 5 or senior 6.
Perfect.
Okay?
I understand that.
Now,
But who cannot? What class level can you tell me that a person is not allowed or is not capable of learning how to hold a camera, how to hold a fork at a very formal meeting,
Serving people
how
in a
to
good restaurant.
talk to elders, how to buy something and save some money, how to save their pocket money. Which class is that?
there are
As
so
a
many
person?
things. There are so many things that limit us as teachers,
Okay.
as schools. Some of these go back to our homes.
Okay.
As students, some of them come from your homes, and a parent sees that their child is going maybe to be disturbed with their education when they start knowing value of money, as in start making their own money. Okay? So they are like, if this one starts earning by themselves, they'll have to go to clubs, they'll have to drink, they'll have to purchase maybe drugs and everything, and we may end up without having someone reasonable. So
Now,
just a
I've-
moment, please. So they'll take you to a school that is so strict, okay? and it will be a boarding school, and from morning to evening you are under CCTV. You are monitored.
It's okay to be under CCTV, but while I'm exposed to
Yes,
videography, I'm exposed
put
to
there.
But
making
remember, these schools themselves don't have the material.
Why?
We have
But we
not
pay
yet-
school
Like
fees,
what
sir.
My
materials?
goodness, are you looking at the 200, 300 and 500 that you pay?
With,
Yes.
with,
The
with
teachers you see need that money because
Yes.
they work.
Yes.
The students you in schools are eating, and you don't eat because there is food at table. You need the right food,
But-
which is a balanced
but-
diet.
but
You will
you
have
do not
security.
tell
guard-
me
the
how
security.
much
We
money.
pay for other.
Tell me how much money you need to start up an economic club whereby you put together kids who are interested in economics or business, bring people out from outside, like you said, to influence them, to show them, to guide them, to help them understand on another level what business is, what saving is, what investing is, what earning is,
The stocks.
and the values, the stocks, where they can invest better, where they can do better in business, what failures, how
Which
do they
company
come
is
out,
doing
which
good, which
company.
one currently is
Tell
falling.
me how
You are-
much money,
You
what
need to do
resources
that.
do you need to start up a club?
Now you are making me think.
Of environmental club,
You are now
whereby
making me
no,
like
let
that.
me first wait. How to create more green, green what?
Green environment.
Green
environment.
environment in our country. What they need to enter into agriculture. What factors that affect that? Rather than waiting for us to go for geography lessons
I think
and learn that from that.
All
Because
that,
when it
and
comes to when it comes from, let's be honest,
now
We are. We actually are.
I
Those
think
text-
Barbara
those
is bringing up
textbooks.
a very sensitive thing, and it's very good. Now, why don't you tell us how much is money the problem, or the system is the problem? Because what I know, the government every year gives us a budget which goes to schools, which
and
is I think
budgets
is there.
depend
And-
on the demands you
Yes,
you-
if they say that we lack laboratories, we want these kids to do this, that's what the government provides. The curriculum, if the teachers stand and say, you know something, this is not appropriate for the students, not preparing them for the outside life, then you know what they do? They will say what is appropriate for them because they want better citizens. So it still goes
hopefully they are
around
not
the
going to get
schools.
those funds and put them in
I am now
Something
thinking
else.
maybe
The
we
teachers
have,
are not bad
just a
people.
moment. Just a moment. I'm now looking at we should pick some students to teach students. You know why?
Good students.
Ma'am, they are still students, aren't they? I am looking at Barbara likes videography because at home the father has a photo studio or something.
doesn't have.
No, has at
Okay.
home. Now having it means Barbara
But
becomes
it's an
interested.
example, right? It's
Oh, yes, it is an
Okay.
example. Barbara is going to talk to Cyber, and they are going to discuss out of class. Okay? Then they will discuss, and then Cyber, whose father, mother, whatever, at home don't have it, will feel like, I think I also want to do this. Barbara now, next time, will come with a camera,
Yes.
and will start teaching Cyber how good that camera could make money very fast. This one is going to lose track because he wanted to be a doctor. He's going to lose track of that and end up going with.
No,
Just a moment.
that is not
I think
losing
this is-
track. By the way, let me tell you, what you want me to become, what you're training me to become, if I do not become that same person and I become some other person who is capable of taking care of themselves, who is able to contribute to the society, that is not losing track. That is finding your potential, your
Which they didn't help you
Yes.
to
I
discover.
think
This is
there
why
is-
I
there is
brought the
something of
same question
importance
I
here.
asked. Do you really help us to discover
Oh,
ourselves?
very much we
Now,
do. Very much.
while concluding,
We
why
may
don't
not-
you help us and tell us what do you think should be done? Or do you think that the system is already there, it's performing well and we are improving? Or you people need to go and revise the
Okay.
system?
NCDC is a National Curriculum Development Center, and every 5 years it checks the education system, the books and everything, and it is made up of a group of teachers and other education serious guys. So they sit, I'll not say we because I've not been there, but I could say we because I'm a teacher. So we sit and talk to them and explain what we think that could be put in those in the books that we use. That's why you see we have agriculture now on board, we have art and craft, we have music, we have, those things were not there before. Why? Because what you're talking about right now is what we already are delivering to the kids.
So we are improving the system.
Very much so, but I think I talked about that.
That's
and
nice.
I gave an example of the people who were in the system but have left. And those ones now are saying the education system is not doing us a favor. It's because they have left and they don't see that. But I'm expecting that in the next few years to come, there's going to be a very big change. We have, there are some schools also that have managed to put debates as part of their training.
Yes,
they have put spelling, reading, and all that. Yes,
all that. Which I think
public speaking, like speeches and everything, on their timetable.
I've seen.
But most of that.
I've seen schools have table talks.
Yeah.
They have Gold Talk. Like
Mm-hmm.
one of the schools in Kigali has a club Gold Talks.
Yes,
it
yes.
gives a platform for speech development and all that.
Uh-huh.
They have a debate club, I think, and all that I think is important. Now, coming to Barbara, what do you think John should take from us? He says the system is developing, but we are here and we have siblings who are studying, by the way.
Yes.
We are seeing what they are teaching them, and to some point it's almost the same. So which means some schools haven't really experienced the change that you people are bringing. What do you think John should take from?
I will talk to you as someone who was a student before. I know you were a student at one point,
Yeah.
but we are not talking about your experience. I'm talking about my experience, and I will talk to you as if I'm talking to many teachers who will be listening. This is what I think. I think most teachers are doing it because it's a career they chose. I would request that you only choose that career if you're more of a caregiver, a caretaker, and someone who really cares about the products of the people you're training.
Yeah.
That will help you go back home and say, okay, this subject, this particular subject I'm teaching, is it going to help my students out there? If according to the books I'm following, it's not helping or it's not showing the relevancy, me as a person who chose this path, how can I help? Am I going back to class and telling them, these are the books they give us to teach you? But I think the information they gave us is important when you reach out in this way. That way we will even like keep on keeping track.
Yes,
Like
sure.
if we are doing history, how is this going to help us out?
Help me
If we
outside
are
when
doing
I am
chemistry,
out.
how is it going to help?
How is
me?
the potassium going to help you in your business?
Yes, how is
You
the
people,
potential
you are
going to
limiting
help
it.
me?
Which
I'm
is
not
okay.
saying- I'm
I
still
think
talking to you.
This
Oh my
this,
goodness.
this discussion will just end like tomorrow, but we don't have that much time. So it has been the Table Talk Show, and thank you very much for the interaction we've been having together on Instagram. The people who watched our video, our first episode of the Table Talk Show on YouTube, the comments were really very good, and we really appreciate your support. This keeps us moving. Now, the only thing you need to do if it's your first time here or you just watch and you haven't subscribed, just click the subscribe button, go on our Instagram at Table Talk Rwanda and click the follow button so that we just keep in touch for the rest of the episodes, because this is not stopping today.